There are plays that look like arithmetic. The ball moves, the score changes, the crowd reacts. Cause and effect, clean and predictable. And then there are nights that don't announce themselves at all. Nights that quietly rewrite the rules while everyone is busy watching the numbers. June 12th, 2023. One win from a championship. The Denver Nuggets step onto the floor, carrying a history that had never known this moment. And at the center of it all is Nikola Jokić, closing the finals without force, without spectacle. 28 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, moving through the game like a metronome that never speeds up, never slows down, never asks for attention. Nothing about it looks explosive. Nothing about it feels urgent. And yet, everything bends toward him. The defense reacts a half-second late. Cutters arrive on time as if pulled by strings. The floor opens possession by possession because one mind is already there, waiting. That night doesn't just deliver Denver its first championship. It quietly changes the language the league uses to talk about centers, about creation, about control, about where intelligence actually lives on a basketball court. Jokić doesn't dominate the game. He organizes it, he edits it, he makes 5 players feel like a single thought. And that's why this isn't one great game. It's the visible answer to a much stranger question: how a second-round pick from Sombor, overlooked, misread, and underestimated, became the most generative big man basketball has ever seen. Start there with the calm and the numbers that don't scream, then rewind. Because the real story isn't how loud the moment was, it's how inevitable it feels once you understand how he learned to think the game into submission. He was always slightly off the map. Born February 19th, 1995, in Sombor, Serbia, Jokić grew up in a basketball culture that prized feel and fundamentals more than hype. He arrived to the NBA as a second-round pick, number 41 in 2014, and the pick felt like a mild puzzle at the time. A heavy, soft-handed prospect with vision unusual for his size. The Nuggets' decision to draft and then develop him was, in retrospect, an institutional bet on patience and craft. That bet did not pay out linearly. It matured like a slow-burning fuse. The quiet early seasons were full of micro-evidence: passing reads in the half-court, unexpected assists out of heavy traffic, an ability to finish in small windows. All signs that the line between center and playmaker might be collapsing. Some careers are fireworks, flashes and bursts that dazzle and then fade. Jokic's career looks more like slow geomorphology, a new formation of the court's geography. He turned the center into an architect. He averaged scoring and rebounding at elite levels, yes, but the truly jarring number for coaches and general managers was the assists and the triple-doubles stacking up like a new statistic for what a franchise anchor could do. He reshaped opponent rotations simply by being a passing fulcrum. Defenders who sagged to bottle up his teammates suddenly found new passing lanes. Teams that doubled him learned that doubling cost them a new kind of playmaking at the rim. The result was a tactical ripple. Spacing changed, perimeter defenders had to respect interior vision, and the league's strategic baseline shifted. The trophies anchor the narrative, and the ledger is heavy. Jokić is a multi-MVP winner. His seasons at the top of the league's MVP list are not a curiosity, but an institutional fact of modern NBA measurement. The league's award history places him multiple times in the highest tier of regular season recognition, reflecting not just box score production, but the historical valuation of a playmaking big who lifts team outcomes. Those MVP seasons were the public accounting of a quieter truth teams had long felt when the ball moved through his hands and rotations opened up around Denver's spacing. Numbers help tell the case because they are precise. Triple-doubles that read like routine, not anomalies, dozens and dozens of them across seasons. Season averages that flirt with a near triple-double in points, rebounds and assists. And most recently, a new assist record among centers, an emblematic milestone. Nikola Jokić surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the all-time assists leader among centers, a punctuation mark on a career defined by vision as much as size. That single fact, a center topping Kareem in career assists, compresses what the eye sees and what the ledger proves, a player who redefined positional expectations. But the arc is not only numbers. It is a string of tactical choices and cultural frictions that made the statistical novelties possible. Early Nuggets teams were patient, occasionally underpowered, but they cultivated an identity that suited Jokic's strengths. Pick and rolls where he could roll or pitch, post flashes where he could survey, spacing that turned defenders into traffic cones. Mike Malone's coaching tenure, the front office's slow roster building, shooters, switchable wings, a reliable pick-and-roll partner in Jamal Murray, and the organization's tolerance for a long development curve combined to convert odd talent into institutional advantage. The Nuggets did not force him to be someone else. They built a system that let an unorthodox center produce orthodox results. Wins. There are nights that act as caps on the slow-motion reveal, games where the world sees the full architecture at work. The 2023 finals were one such cap. Jokic's all-around efficiency, his ability to score in various registers, and his willingness to take and make late, tough shots erased a persistent doubt. Could a team truly be built around such a passer at center in a modern superstar era? When Denver closed out Miami, the answer was emphatic. That finals run was not an outlier. It was the culmination of years of sequence, draft pick, patient development, complementary pieces, and a coaching staff that built offense around his unique gifts. The trophy validated the hypothesis. If you want to track the technical DNA, watch the film in slow motion. See how his feet anchor a post-up and immediately transform into a triple threat window, a shoulder fake that lures a help defender, a pivot that reveals a cutting wing, and an unobtrusive pass that hits a three before defenders react. Sometimes he barks a one-word command and the court reorganizes. He reads help like a quarterback reads a blitz. His pocket passes are not mere flash, but the result of repeated pattern recognition. Defenders' hips, the faint telegraph of a shooter's foot plant, the half second when a big man's chest turns. On defense, his positioning and passing allow quick transition. On offense, his low post orchestration creates open shots that did not exist 5 years earlier for a center. Coaches call it gravity, analytics call it net impact. The two descriptions point to the same currency: possession value. Comparisons are instructive because they show what he is not as much as what he is. If you drop Jokić next to Shaquille O'Neal, the contrast is tectonic. Shaq owned the rim with force and intimidation. Jokić owns the court with vision and patience. Put him next to Kareem or Wilt, and the difference is historical. Those centers dominated via interior scoring and rim protection. Jokić rewrites the center as creator. Compare him to LeBron James in the sense of impact per possession and playmaking, and you start to see why analysts began to place Jokić in rare company. Both generate offense and therefore wins, not just by scoring, but by structurally changing how an offense breathes. Those comparisons are not vanity. They are an analytic map for how modern basketball values the player who can do multiple jobs at an elite level. But greatness also has friction. Jokic's game is not built from athleticism or explosive defense. It's built from timing and technique, and that creates vulnerabilities. Opponents can pressure him physically, increase pace to expose mobility limits, and scheme to deny clean post touches. The Nuggets' response has been to supplement him with perimeter defenders, pick-and-roll partners who can finish, and role players who punish over help. The narrative of his career is therefore twofold: an individual genius and an organizational project. For every creative pass he throws, there were front office moves that created players to receive those passes. A superlative has two siblings: talent and context. Denver invested in both NBA. There are also human stories embedded in the statistics. Jokic's demeanor, a quiet, almost bemused confidence, fractally affects how teammates behave. Jamal Murray's surge back from injury, Michael Porter Jr.'s shot creation arcs, and even earlier role players' career arcs can all be read as responses to the gravitational field Jokić creates. Opponents speak of the oddity of guarding a center who passes like a point guard. Teammates speak of the relief of knowing a simple curl or cut will be found. Coaches praise the simplicity his vision creates because it reduces randomness. A single, good read from Jokić remedies bad spacing elsewhere. That social capital, trust earned in picks, practice, and playoff pressure, is the invisible filament that ties stats to wins. His resume of landmark moments is long. MVP seasons that recognize sustained excellence, the 2023 championship that validated team construction, and a steady accumulation of triple-doubles that forced nightly reappraisal of how to defend him. As of late 2025, he is still adding to the ledger, career triple-double counts that place him among the all-time leaders for the modern era, and recent milestones like becoming the all-time assist leader among centers, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a headline that reads not as whimsy, but as an historical reclassification. These are not trivia. They are load-bearing facts that historians will point to when they sketch the era where the center became a creator as often as a finisher. There are critics and counterfactuals. Some analytics purists will point to line-up defense problems when he is off the floor, the occasional playoff series where pressure against his mobility exposes gaps, or to the simple statistical truth that accumulation requires minutes and touches. Others question whether any single player can be the nucleus of repeated dynasties without other superstars rotating in and out over decades. Those critiques are useful checks because they force a more refined question. Is Jokić a unique individual anomaly, or does he represent a new class of roster-building template? The answer so far is both. He is unique, yes, but his style has already altered the way teams recruit and build around a generative big. Part of the poetry of his story is how it bends standard narratives about personality and leadership. Jokić is not a firebrand. He is not publicly theatrical. He leads with passes and with an almost private humour. He laughs with teammates in a way that makes his calm contagious. That tacit leadership is organisational gold, the type of presence coaches prefer when balancing egos and responsibilities. Phil Jackson loved the Zen type. Popovich, the disciplined artisan. Jokić is perhaps closer to a new archetype, the cerebral anchor who destabilizes opponents with thoughtfulness rather than physical domination. Teams with such anchors sometimes need less vocal captains and more structural trust. Denver built around that quiet, and it worked. If you want the cinematic image to end on, pick something intimate rather than triumphant. A half-court timeout late in a close game. The Nuggets huddle, the coach draws a simple arrow and Jokić leans forward, looks at a teammate and says nothing. And then the ball moves with such inevitability that the final shot seems preordained. Or pick a mundane moment in a quiet gym where Jokić practices touch on runners with a grin that looks like mild surprise at his own rhythm. Those frames explain why the headlines are not enough. Greatness is the marriage of small acts repeated until they become unavoidable. For Nikola Jokić, the big acts, MVPs, a finals MVP records, are the visible grammar of a voice that has been teaching the league a new vocabulary for a decade. The broader lesson is structural. Talent matters, but its value is multiplied or muted by organizational patience, roster architecture, and tactical imagination. Denver's patient gamble: draft the oddball, give him minutes, bring the right shooters, and build out a culture that trusts a non-traditional center, reads today like a blueprint for teams who want to escape binary choices between a scoring superstar or a system player. Jokić shows a third way. A franchise can build around a creator at center and still win at the highest level. Coaches will teach that film for years. GMs will rerun the decision tree, and young players who study the game will learn that playmaking can come from any size. That vision trumps archetype. In the end, the honest small claim is this: Nikola Jokić altered the map. He did it not with thunderous athleticism, but with the quiet authority of a player who sees what others do not and then makes it happen with remarkable regularity. The trophies, the MVPs, the records are the proof. The film is the explanation. And the rest is the thing fans will debate for generations. How do we remember a player who taught the league a new grammar? For now, the footage is abundant, the stats are heavy, and the argument is still being written. Watch another Jokić game, not for a single highlight, but for the cumulative logic of his passing over a game, how it creates open threes, how it forces switches, how it changes a coach's decisions mid-series. That is where the quiet revolution lives.